I really want to make sure that everything I say from here on out on the podcast, it's clear that I'm relaying my own experience with this stuff. I'm talking about my own experience, and I am not saying anything I'm saying as a commentary on your experience. Your experience is your own, and there's a good chance that your experience differs from mine. You might hear a lot of what I'm saying and go, no, I relate to a lot of this. A lot of this sounds really familiar. And you might hear half of what I'm saying and go, half of that's familiar, and half of that I don't think he really understands. And you might be listening to me and going, you have no idea what you're talking out your ass, Austin. This is not what depression is like for me at all. And you might not relate. I am speaking about my own experience and talking about how it feels for me and what helps for me. I know that for me, listening to people talk about what might help and having people give me suggestions on what I could be doing to maybe pull myself out of it sometimes is like really hard to hear for me. I know that in my experience, like when I'm sad, when I'm depressed, the last thing I want to do is anything that will make me feel better. And that's sort of the rub. That's the bitch of it for me is just that, like, for whatever reason, the way that my depression manifests and makes itself known in my life is it makes me not want to do any of the things, any single thing that might help me feel better. It wants me to lean into all of the things that will keep me feeling bad. So what my depression wants me to do is like sleep in late, not get out of bed, and it says it in like a nice voice. It's not mean. That depression kitty from Big Mouth, if you've ever seen that show, or Internal Affairs, whatever. What is it? What's the show? What's the other show called? Human Relations? Human Relations, maybe the spinoff of Big Mouth, but they have this depression kitty. And that's really accurate for me because it's like really nice to me. It's like, oh, you know what you should do? You don't have anything early in the morning tomorrow. You should like sleep in. First of all, stay up late. Stay up late and watch as much Better Call Saul as you want, okay? You need to catch up. Everyone's saying that this show is great. Binge, baby, binge and snack and go to bed at like 3 a.m. Who cares? You don't have to be up for anything tomorrow. If you're out of bed by noon tomorrow, it'll be fine. And this is what my depression wants me to do. And it's like, and I do it. I'm like, you know what? You're right. You're right. That sounds great. It's not. It's like terrible. It's never like, I'm glad I did that. That was awesome. It just keeps the process of getting more and more depressed going more and more subtly. And it's subtle. It just ratchets up a little bit at a time. And before you know it, you're in a bad place where you're kind of reeling and you're wondering, how did I get here? And it's because that little tempting depression kitty, and again, just speaking for myself here, is so tempting and so cute and nice and seemingly there for you, being like, hey, today, skip the yoga in the morning. You did yoga the last 3 days. That was so good of you. You were so good. I'm so proud of you. Just skip it today. It's okay. You're fine. Like, you're totally fine. And the reality is like, no, that was helping you feel better. It's really, really convincing. And so I get it. I get it. The last thing I want to hear from people when I tell them that I'm kind of depressed too is like, oh, you know what you should do is exercise. Fuck off with that. Would someone tell, oh, you should just exercise more? Yeah. You think? You mean my least favorite thing? Yeah, I know. I will do any of the things that can make me feel better. Just drinking some water. Just maybe I just need to drink more water. Drinking some water. You know, I will do any of the things before I consider like going on a run. Ugh. Going to the gym. No. Oh, it's my least favorite thing in the world. And it's maybe the thing that if I were able to do it would actually change my situation. And I feel the most resistance to it, where my body and my soul and my brain are like, no, absolutely not. Anything else. And I'll just like call yoga exercise if I get my heart rate up. If I have to do some poses that day that are a little hard for me and that get me breathing hard, then I'm like, I did it. I did it. I like to take walks. I'll take a little walk and be like, I did it. But like, boy, actual exercise, actual sweating bullets exercise. Ooh, I'll do everything on the list before that one. Exercise and changing the way I eat. Actually trying to like craft my diet to make myself feel better, make my mental health feel better. Oh, fuck off. Because again, my depression is like, no, what you need is half baked. You need a pint of half baked from the store. Remember how delicious that was the last time you ate one? And I'm like, I do remember that. It's so good. And I go and get it and I eat it. And by the time I'm done, I'm like, well, I don't feel that great, to be honest. I did like it. It tasted good, but I don't feel like energized or better. Now I just feel like taking a little depression nap. Anyway, this is just sort of my experience lately is I've been very uninspired. I've been very sort of just thinking like, what am I doing? What am I doing with my life? What am I doing with my art? Is it working still? Is it dying? Is my creativity, am I losing it? Am I staying on top of things that I need to stay up on top of professionally, personally, spiritually? And I don't think I am with like anything. And that just deepens my feeling of despair. And I just want to be clear that like I relate to the feeling of not wanting to be told to like get it together or how I could get it together. That when someone's like, you need to do this or that, I'm like, I know. I'm going to be 35 on Tuesday. It's my birthday on Tuesday. I know what I'm supposed to be doing and what I should be doing. I'm consciously not doing those things because that's how my depression manifests in my life. But I will say this. At some point, okay? So what I'm doing here is I'm trying to set up a relatable feeling, hopefully for some people, and trying to let you know, like, I am feeling bad and I have been feeling bad, trying to qualify that for you. And I'm also trying to set up that I think it's important to honor feelings as they come up and to honor and acknowledge states of being as they come up and let them flow through you. I think that's important to not repress them or push them away. But now what I want to talk about, the third thing that I think is really important is at some point though, you gotta find something, some way to get up and move through that. Be the people pleasers, a fancy way of being alive. Trying to do and say the things that make